Hey everybody, it's Satyrion Leafspar. And kind of like I said in the previous video that I uploaded, I'm gonna start doing prompts every Monday. It's Monday morning, so I'm gonna do this prompt before I do anything else today, although it may be edited and uploaded quite a bit later in the evening. But anyways, I'm getting it done. So the prompt list that I'm using is the BJD Addicts prompt. I think it's 45 plus prompts that you can actually do. I'll pop them up, and now that you can see them on the screen, you can get a kind of a general idea of what each and every one of the prompts are, but I'll be sure to throw them down in the description box below in case you want to do it too. It's a very old list from my understanding. So most of us that have been in the hobby for a long time or a year plus have probably already done it. I don't really know, but I thought it'd be fun to do for 2019. The very first prompt, as you saw, was the introduction prompt. Good place to start, I suppose, but if you've been, on my YouTube channel for a while or my Instagram, you'll know most of this. But I'm going to create a playlist anyway, so anyone can watch it from the beginning to the end whenever it's done. It'll probably take about a year, because I'm only going to be doing between, it's one every Monday, so about 4 a month. And there's some additional prompts that are on this in the same category, and it pushes it to almost 52. 52 weeks in the year, it gives me a year's worth of videos. Free ideas. Massive shout out to BJD Addicts. So with the first one being an introduction, I'm going to kind of give you some basic information about my collection first, and not exclusively BJDs, because that's not the only thing that I actually collect. I've got Barbies, I've got 18-inch dolls, which are there, and some others, but I just collect dolls. I collect toys, it's all kind of things. To start out with, the very first time I joined any form of social media platform, that is, was February the 12th of 2017, and that was a Facebook group. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but my first introduction into a social platform was the Facebook group created by Pint Size Palace. And I was there for about a month, little over a month, before I jumped into Instagram. So my first Instagram post, however, was March the 24th, same year, 2017. And that's about the only place for a long time that I would upload any videos whatsoever. If you see me glance over there, I've got my monitor recording my screen so I can see what's going on. But yeah, Instagram was March 24th, 2017, and that brings us to several months later, brought off by the inspiration of friends in a group. At that point in time, people like Kohaku Creations, BC's Art, and several others, I wound up starting a YouTube channel. And that was June the 13th of 2017. So realistically, 2017 and February to June is kind of like the months of anniversaries. It's when it all started. What I haven't mentioned is when I got my first doll. My very first doll came to me within the first week of January-ish as a gift from my mother, because I had been watching channels like Asenva, Delightful, Pint Size Palace, or a few to name that I can really remember first watching, and Lomi's Playground when I first got into the hobby. It was, and I should have looked, well, I can tell you, my very first doll that I purchased was June 13th, because my very first video was an unboxing. It's the Impel Doll John, which is there. So, moving on. If we talk about my collection as a whole, not just my BJDs, even though this is a BJD prompt, I've got probably 35 plus 1/6 scale or Barbie type dolls that range from, and I'm looking up at some of them, that range from the Harry Potter dolls to some 1990s NSYNC dolls, Wizard of Oz, and then Monster High, Ever After High, Kens, ranging from Ken, the character himself, to some of the movie Kens, like over there's my Twilight dolls, Batman, those kind of things. 18-inch dolls, I have 9 right now. Do not know if I'll be adding to it anytime soon. I'm still interested in them, and I still enjoy playing with them, but I don't really know of any dolls that's in that category I'm really interested in adding to my collection right now. There's one I want to customize to make a certain character, but that'll come later. BJDs, and this is where the list is a little different. I'm going to break it down a little differently. So resin SDs, like the Impel Doll John right here, full resin, fully strung, and he is ball jointed. If you're not familiar with BJDs, I have 5 of them, which is the John, 2 Chads, and an Aries. All of them have been from Impel Doll so far, like that. Then I've got 1 vinyl SD, which is way up there with the rest of them. He is a Doll Granado Udell, I think is how it's said, but he's Udell. He's the very first Venn doll, is what they're calling them, that came out. I kind of was really, really interested, jumped in, grabbed it. I don't regret it, but I'm not as fond of him as I am my actual resin BJDs. I think the vinyl just makes me nervous. I really don't want him to get him to get stained. Whereas if a BJD gets stained, it's kind of easy to just take a magic eraser to it, or lightly sand the problem. Vinyl, it's porous. It's a little bit different. SD heads only. These are just the head of the doll, if you don't have them, and they have no body whatsoever. I have got 6 of them, and that means they all need bodies in my mind. 1 is an Impel Doll Dylan, the other is a Doll Granado Michael. Then I've got 3 from Tiffy BJD Crafts, which is a Bartholomew 2, a Joanna, and a Brutus. And the 3 from Tiffy, to kind of break it down, all of my SDs that have bodies that are resin are 70 plus centimeters. They're on the uncle scale. The Venn doll is about 65, so he's just a SD standard. He's not even in that hound category. And then the 3 heads I got from Tiffy BJD Crafts are in that, I think, 65-ish centimeter size. So obviously I'm a fan of the bigger dolls. Always have been. Whenever I could find larger dolls as a kid, it's what I enjoyed playing with as compared to like tinies. I don't mean that as BJDs, but just smaller dolls. Resin MSDs, I've got 1, which you can see him back there. He's right here. That's Phelan. Then YoSDs, he's back there too. He's right here. That's Louie. Both of them are Impel Doll. The MSD is a Lucian sculpt, and Louie, which is the tiny one, is a Ives. And then I have 1 tiny, which is another Tiffy BJD Crafts Harold the Turtle. Can you see him up there, or is he way up? Okay, no, he's way up there. addition to those, I've got a couple of pet scale. When I say pet scale, they're like this. They're very small. They almost fit into that accessory category because they mostly don't come with COAs and those kind of things. So they are dolls. 2 of them are strung, but they're in a weird category. I have a long soul moon rabbit, a long soul ancient tails tadpole. I know it's tadpole and ancient, so ancient tadpole or ancient tails tadpole. He came partnered with another doll that I did not get. I just purchased the tadpole. Then 2 long soul Zuzus, which look like dogs. They look like little dragon dogs. They're very Japanese themed. Almost all of those can be seen on my Instagram. So if you're interested in seeing like really good pictures of them, good is to be questioned, but if you're interested in seeing pictures of them, at least close up, jump on Instagram. I think all of them are on there in one way or another on my account. The Zuzus may be the hardest ones to find because you're always going to see them popped up on the shoulder of another doll. So more dates, and then I'll kind of just talk a little bit. My very first face up that I did wasn't until January the 28th of 2018, almost a year later. I had been exclusively either commissioning other artists to do the work, or when I purchased them from the companies, I would make arrangements with them for them to handle the blushing entirely, just because I wasn't confident enough to do it. So I paid people that I trusted to do it and do it well to do the job. That way I just knew it was done. But it wasn't long after doing that face up, I made the decision to take a blank doll that I had, which was the Lucian, or not Lucian, the Aries, and completely face up him on my own. And when I say on my own, it was, my first face up was more of a added detail and darkening, and the Aries sculpt was totally blank. And he, funny thing, is the very first doll I've ever purchased totally blank, with the knowledge that I would either have to commission an artist or take care of it myself. Last little date to throw in here is first ever total body blushing, which is never. I've never done it. I've got several dolls coming in, and I have several dolls currently that are blank from the neck down. They need to be totally blushed, but I've not taken the steps to do it yet. And when weather breaks, / winter, it starts warming up, that's something I really want to do this year, is start really getting into body blushing, because it's not really as scary as it sounds. If you can blush a face, you should be able to blush a head. Anyways, I still want to learn how to do it. The only way I'm going to learn is by doing it. So, those are the questions. Not questions, but that's the information that I kind of put together for the beginning of the video. I already don't know how long this is, and I'm not going to ramble on too much, but within the first year of me being in the hobby, I did more than just the dolls and taking pictures. It kind of focused my creativity in the sense of I started making things for the dolls. I've made tiny money, credit cards, Social Security cards, cigarettes, furniture. I don't know. I've made a wide variety of things that I never would have without getting into the hobby. I've always been a creative person, and I've always liked to do crafts and whatnot, work with my hands. But it was kind of like having crafter's ADD or ADHD. I never really knew what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to do something to be creative and have an outlet. And with the dolls, it just kind of focused it a little. I started focusing on what the dolls needed, so it gave me, they inspired me to be creative. That was a really long, difficult way of saying that. But it's the morning, so meh. In addition to the BJDs, the American Girl style dolls, Barbies and whatnot, this year, and he's holding my little list, you can see him down here a little bit. Last year was the very first time I ever got a reborn, which is a werepup. That opening's on here too. So this was a big year of firsts, just as much as 2017 was. I got to go to my first BJD retreat last year, and it's been a good thing. The whole experience has been relatively positive, and I'm just going to leave it at that without going into the dredges. I will put links to my Instagram down below, so if you are new to my channel and you don't know how to find me, it's an easy way to do it if you want to. And this will be the end of the very first video, one of, I'm going to say 50 plus, of the BJD Addicts prompt, an introduction. I would say if you've already done this and it's been a long time, a year plus, do it again. Your answers are going to be different, and there may be something that you can add this time you do it that you didn't add last time, and just call it the BJD Addicts Prompt 2018 or 2019. I keep forgetting it's now the 19th year. Just a suggestion. But I hope all of you have a great, wonderful day. Take care of yourself, be safe, have fun, and I will get this uploaded as quick as I can and be back. Have a great day. Bye.